let's say that we get to a situation where Meta comes out with their glasses and the world around us becomes almost entirely augmented reality, right? Like we're now seeing like YouTube videos as we're walking down the street. We can just propagate screens anywhere and we can reskin things in the real world in real time. I would argue, that could be a little bit of an attention suck. How would you say that, augmented reality is going to combat that attention grab?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're seeing that attention grab, already now on mobile with like how much time people are spending, on their mobile phones, on screens all day. You even see it with like something like texting while driving. It's dangerous, you're looking down and you're not looking at the road and things can happen in a split second, and you can get into a crash. And I think that's a perfect example of using augmented reality when you really need like a heads up display so you can like really live your life and be aware of all of your surroundings. And then, if someone calls you or you get a text notification, maybe you see it like in the corner of your eye, but it's taking like 5% of your vision and 95% of your vision is. And so I think like, with augmented reality, we have a chance to like think about all the amazing experiences on the internet, like in this digital world, like we can have those in the real world now.
Moody, my man, what is going on, brother? It's so great to have you on the podcast here today. You and I both have been in the gaming scene in Detroit, Michigan for a long time, which is kind of a tight-knit community. So I think I heard your name like a billion times come up before I actually met you in person. But yeah, man, I mean, it's been a blast. Like we've pitched some business together and kind of I've been just a big fan of BrandXR forever. So congratulations on all the success to you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, and thank you for having me. And I was excited because the name of the podcast is Game Jam, and we've put on a bunch of game jams at BrandXR, kind of hackathons, like weekend hackathons. We call them game jams. So I was excited to jump on the podcast and talk more about like gaming technologies, but how they're used for non-gaming use cases. And so, yeah, excited to chop it up with you.
So like right off the jump, Moody, what you're obviously augmented reality company. That's kind of your secret sauce. But can you tell like me again kind of what differentiates you from other augmented reality companies?
Yeah, sure. So BrandXR is a no-code augmented reality platform, meaning that like you can create an experience in just a few minutes without having to write a single line of code. So it's really built for non-developers to get them ramped up quickly, building augmented reality experiences. So like a teacher, a marketer, maybe a student even could build a augmented reality experience, in just a few minutes on the BrandXR Studio. And then we have our professional services side of the business that works with, some of the world's leading brands, helping them use augmented reality as a sales and marketing tool. And one of the things we're really known for is our augmented reality murals and in augmented reality billboards. So that's when we're kind of mixing these physical murals and physical billboard ads with augmented reality experiences. So kind of a mix of physical and digital, and we've had a lot of fun doing that. That's become one of the things we're known for.
So I did check out Verizon's mural down in Miami that BrandXR put on, and it
Oh,
was
nice.
just like jaw on the floor, so cool. So for those of you who don't know, BrandXR, like one of their big partners is Verizon. You go to a Verizon store. It's not every Verizon store, right? It's just a select few. You see like an augmented experience. Yeah. It's pretty wild.
I was gonna say is they're like localized murals on Verizon stores, and we did them down in the Miami area for Art Basel last year. So he activated a number of their Miami stores, and so they had kind of localized murals, and then a sign with the QR code, so you could scan the QR code, and then that would link you to the AR experience to like make the mural jump off the wall, and then you can kind of play with the mural like a video game. So you can like interact with the different pieces of the mural, uh, like you're playing a video game. So we like to gamify these experiences.
Perfect activation for our Basel, can I just say? That's like what I really love. Our Basel, if you guys don't know, is this conference that is kind of like the intersection of art and technology. I know that's like a platitude that's overused, but like I think augmented reality in particular is like maybe like the face of like the intersection of art and technology, because it's such a cool uplifting piece of artwork, but it's also like pretty complex building these murals, these gamified experiences.
Yeah, Art Basel is amazing. We go almost every year. I'll go down there, and it's funny how it's evolved over the years. Like when crypto was big, you had a lot of like cryptos and NFTs and that type of stuff there. Like kind of the putting art on the blockchain and getting the royalties for the artist. That was a lot of talk. But it's amazing how like art takes over Miami, and basically everything from like a hotel to a Foot Locker will turn into an art gallery, and there's all these different activations. So um, yeah, it's and now you're seeing a lot of technology get in the mix. So yeah, it's really become uh, good mix of art and technology down there.
Yeah, and Moody, I'll just say this too. I know a lot of people in the augmented reality space, but I actually think when it comes to like raw talent and somebody who like knows how to activate these experiences really well, you are top of mind. Like you actually create these experiences that are really like, I don't know how else to describe it. When I first heard your name for the very first time, I want to say this. It was because you planned like an augmented reality experience in downtown Detroit. And every single time I was talking to VCs at the time, and I told them that I was in the gaming space, they were like, "Oh my god, I just went to like this insane augmented reality experience planned by Moody." Can you talk about that campaign that you activated in Detroit? Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Um, what it was, how it came together, all that jazz.
Yeah, so we did our first augmented reality mural in Detroit like back in 2018. And since then, we've been, Detroit is well known for its murals. Uh, a lot of people in the city of Detroit are trying to change the name from like Detroit Rock City to Detroit Mural City. So Detroit's known for its murals, and we're a big fan of the artwork here in Detroit, and we wanted to put our AR twist on it. So we kind of brought augmented reality murals to Detroit back in 2018, and then since then have been adding new murals every year. And we built an app called the Electrify app, where we activate all these AR murals. So we called it the Electrify Detroit uh, AR Mural Festival. And, we've been doing it every year, adding new murals. And now we have over 20 different murals all over Detroit that are activated with these augmented reality experiences. And we partnered with Bedrock, uh, eventually Dan Gilbert's real estate company, to bring all of the murals into one gallery last year. And so that was really cool because they're really spread out around Metro Detroit. So instead of having to drive to all of them, you could see them all in one gallery space. And we activated that for the month of design. So we had our own immersive art gallery for 1 month running, and it was free to everyone. And we saw hundreds of people a day come through the doors, try augmented reality for the first time, in kind of like a fun and non-intimidating way because it's art, and we've done augmented reality projects with organizations like NASA, so it can get pretty complicated. But this is like, a fun way just to experience the art and the augmented reality. And we had people ages from like 6 all the way up to like 86 come through the doors, and they're able to figure it out. So yeah, we like to make the experiences intuitive, We know it's a lot of people's first time trying augmented reality. So we know there's like a big learning curve. So we try to make it simple and, really like wow them with this first experience so they can get more into it.
And then as the legend goes, right, you raised a pretty juicy round after that, right? Or did you raise before?
Yeah, we've raised a little bit before that, but we raised a little over $1 million for Brand XR. And yeah, now we're really focused on bringing augmented reality to the out of home advertising space. So
Mhm.
we're kind of well known for doing it on murals, and last year we kind of leveled it up to do it all across all of out of home advertising. So billboards, digital signage, like bus stop signage, subway signage. Um, Especially, we found that in places that have high dwell time, like an airport where people are just sitting around waiting for their flight. It's really good for folks because we're seeing engagement of like 3 to 5 minutes in some of our AR experiences where, we're in a day and age where people like can't wait to hit skip on the YouTube ad like 2 seconds in. So like for people to be engaging and playing with an ad for like 3 minutes at a time, or a branded experience. I know you know a lot about this, Max. It's pretty cool. And so that's, that's what we try to do.
Yeah, I was gonna jump in here and de-jargonify some of this terminology for the non-advertising folks in the room, but a dwell time is like literally like how much people are looking at a mural, right? So it's like if people's looking at your mural for 2 minutes, it's like 2 minutes of dwell time. And what's really exceptional about Moody's your activations for brands is just that. Like, imagine sitting with a YouTube ad for 2 minutes. Nobody's gonna do that. Everyone's skipping that ad after 5 seconds. You know what I mean? There's no way that anyone's engaging with advertisements for nearly as long as they're engaging with your ads. So it is really special for brands in that way.
Yeah, we like to think of it, if you can like empower the fans of the brand with like this really incredible, engaging, immersive, interactive, augmented reality experience, then what's nice about augmented reality is it's camera first. So it's really easy to take like photos and videos of that experience and have the fans be like so amazed with it that they share it out, on their own social media channels. So like, forget about having to spend all this money on ads. Like at BrandXR, we'd rather like spend money on the creative, build a really interesting and immersive experience, and then let the fans of that brand, share that out with the world and like have that word of mouth really go viral.
It's so special, and we can talk about brands, but just to like tie a bow on that venture funding conversation, because you and I have both raised funds in Michigan. We're in pretty rarefied air, especially in the gaming space, to be venture backed in Michigan. But what I was going to say to this is like, you can get so in the weeds of like, oh yeah, what's my revenue forecast? What's my customer retention? What's my go-to-market strategy? What's the TAM? Blah, 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 blah. Like what people don't realize is half of raising venture capital is just quite literally doing really cool shit. And like Brand XR is like one of the biggest case studies in that. Like you guys just do really cool shit. And like obviously if you are somebody who's a high net worth individual or a fund and you come to your art galleries or you see these murals, you just get it innately. You're like, I understand why this is valuable and this is going to pop off. That I can't stress enough how important that is. You know what I mean? If you're looking to raise venture here in 2025 or 26, I know not every business is necessarily as sexy as augmented reality, so to speak. You're in a pretty sexy space, Moody, I gotta say. But but yeah, figuring out how to make these activations that inspire people is pretty important.
100%, 100%. I always say seeing is believing, especially when it comes with like something immersive technology like augmented reality, virtual reality. You really need to like see it for yourself. it's like kind of hard to explain. Like every little detail of it, you really need to like see it for yourself to really get it. Um, and so yeah, like that's like providing those examples in those places where people can like see it on their own, and you're not there helping them. They're just kind of like following the directions on the signs and whatnot, and they're figuring it out on their own. But yeah, I definitely think that that helped. It wasn't part of our strategy, but I definitely think it helped. Yeah, I think
It
doing
helps for sure.
doing doing cool shit, doing news making stuff where like your brand is in the news. I think it definitely helps. Like as much as it's like a vanity metric, I think like investors want to see that, especially at the early stages. It's just like another validation check for you.
Totally. Totally. So, Moody, there's a bunch of stuff that I want to get to, but I want to like kick off this kind of conversation with kind of a debate actually. Okay. Now walk with me here. We're both gamers, so it's going to be a fun little like debate game here. Uh I want you to argue the side of like why augmented reality is good for the world, like why this technology can help people. I'm going to argue the side of why it's bad for the world. I don't believe this in real life, but I'm going to play devil's advocate here. And I want us to have like a little mini, maybe 5 minute debate on this topic. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, yeah. Let's go. Let's go. I've given not one but two TED Talks on this topic, so I'm happy. Let's go. Let's get into
I
it.
know he's ready to go. He's ready to tear my head off. Okay, perfect. All right, so I'll start. I'll start with this. Okay, so first let's talk about augmented reality, right? Um, it, let's say that we get to a situation where Meta comes out with their glasses and the world around us becomes like almost entirely augmented reality, right? Like we're now seeing like YouTube videos as we're walking down the street because we can just propagate screens anywhere and we can reskin things in the real world in real time. I would argue, that could be a little bit of an attention suck. That takes our attention away from the here and now, from the people, the physical people that are like present in our lives, our loved ones. How do you explain that away, Moody? How would you say that augmented reality is going to combat that attention grab?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're seeing that attention grab, already now on mobile with like how much time people are spending, on their mobile phones, on screens all day. And you even see it with like something like texting while driving, that's like a perfect example. When you're doing something that's like, very serious, it's like, life threatening, it's dangerous, sort of thing. And then you're looking down or away at your phone, and you're not looking at the road, and things can happen in a split second, and you can get into a crash. And um, I think that's a perfect example of using augmented reality when you really need like a heads up display so you can like really live your life and be aware of all of your surroundings. um, and then, if someone calls you or you get a text notification, maybe you see it like in the corner of your eye, but it's taking like, 5% of your vision, and 95% of your vision is, on the road, you can still see. So um, I think like people have been like getting sucked into their phones, and instead of like getting sucked into like the real world, they're getting sucked into this digital world, and it's like through a screen in their phones. And so I think like, with augmented reality, we have a chance to like think about all the amazing experiences on the internet, like in this digital world, like we can have those in the real world now. So you can be in a park and you can be like, you know, playing some game in the park in the real world versus like playing a game on your computer screen, and you can be playing with your friends too, like all over the world. It can be like a networked game. So yeah, I really think, uh, like we don't need to be tied to these screens anymore. I think screens are like such a big part of their life.
You think it's going to be healthier for us to abandon our phone screen in favor of some augmented reality solution where we're at least like more present in the real world. It's blended, of course, but it's
Yeah,
it's it's going to be allow us to be more present more of the time actually.
exactly. Because I think there's a lot of people nowadays who are living a lot of their lives like on the internet in a digital world. They're not interacting with too many people like in real life. And so I do think augmented reality can even like help become a bridge for some of those people that are maybe more introverted and more tech forward. They can like grab these AR glasses and jump with it.
That's fair, but what about the advertisers? You know, I don't know if you've watched Ready Player One recently, but the big bad villain, he's the CEO of the evil company IOI, and the way that he's introduced to the character or to the reader in the book Ready Player One is he's giving a board meeting to his board, and he's saying, "We've ran studies, and we found that we can fill this virtual reality device with 82% ads. 82% of the screen can be ads before the player induces a seizure." Don't you worry that advertisers, once we put on the glasses, which is inevitable, eventually we're going to put on these glasses and we're never going to take them off, and the world's going to be augmented reality for the rest of time. But don't you worry that advertisers will come for literally every pixel of our vision if we let them?
No, I think that there's going to definitely be standards around this. I think you're seeing it today with AI. So, like there's now becoming a lot of standards coming out. Like the government is putting in like AI boards. There's an AI czar in like the US government. So um, I do think that it's going to be a super important technology, and because of that, it's going to be regulated. And
Mm.
so yeah, I think we'll have rules against that. And then I also think like just be a terrible user experience. So like people like Mark Zuckerberg know you can't fill up your Facebook feed or your Instagram feed with 82% ads because like it'll be a terrible experience, for all the users.
Nobody will use it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that I can see that point. I give you that. I also agree with it. I think what people tend to miss actually as consumers is that advertisers really actually they want to impress the consumer. So if we're delivering an ad in a form factor that sucks, it's actually of negative value to the advertiser. Like the advertiser would rather not do that at all because if the ad denigrates the brand of Nike because Nike's taking up too much of your augmented reality vision, right? It's actually better for Nike to just not do that. Like not do that ad. So I'd agree with you, Moody. I think it's going to be pretty intentional how the advertisers integrate with augmented reality, very similar to what you're doing now, with BrandXR. But that was me breaking character for a little moment because
Yeah.
I'm technically on the anti-augmented reality. I have to put on my anti-augmented reality hat for the purpose of this conversation, which is hard for me to do because I'm very pro augmented reality. Um, my last point here though, Moody, is regarding kind of like this idea of I don't know, like misinformation could be amplified so hard in augmented reality, don't you think? Like we could, maybe be exposed to hackers or be exposed to maybe just bad actors who are trying to transform our vision in malicious ways to get us to react and behave differently. Do you think that that's a possibility at all, or not really something that I know this is kind of far off, but
Yeah, yeah. I think it's far off. Like I think like it's not a super popular medium right now for hackers to be thinking about. So I don't think they're quite there yet. But I do think when like Mark Zuckerberg comes out with the augmented reality glasses, or even I was just seeing news that like augmented reality glasses is Tim Cook's top priority now at Apple. So like these glasses are coming. I don't see them. I think they'll I think you'll have very lifelike content. Um and I think, now with AI being helping like generative AI to generate the content, and it becoming very easy to make like fake content, deep fakes, and things like this. I do think it's going to be something to look out for, because yeah, I think like you're already seeing generative AI be able to create like 3D models and create animations, and there's some tools that will create like a whole virtual world. So yeah, you could very easily create a virtual world and tell, a fake story there. Um, so yeah, I think your what is it called, like digital literacy. I think like now there's like AI digital literacy that you need to have, is like don't believe every image you see or every video. And like, even Trump has put out some crazy looking AI videos, so like, you I think that digital literacy now is like AI, and then maybe in a year or two it'll be around like augmented reality, and virtual reality.
I think that it's all there. All right, so I made my points about why augmented reality is bad and cancerous for the world. I think I failed on all three. I think you refuted them pretty handedly. But tell me now, I'll give you the pedestal, Moody. Why do you like augmented reality? Like, why should we as a society and community lean into this technology and trying to bring it to the fore?
Yeah, I think it's just super useful for solving, a lot of problems. I think like the main thing that we're seeing it used for in e-commerce is visualization. So, with augmented reality, you can see a digital twin of the product. You could maybe see an animation of the product, how it works, the different product features. You could kind of like put the Porsche in your driveway and customize it, like customize the color, customize the wheels, customize the trim package. Um, and you can kind of like virtually test drive it yourself in your driveway, before you go spend time at a dealership or, getting more information. Um, so I think that is super useful, like being able to like really um, see a digital twin, like this concept of a digital twin of like not only products but also like people, being able to create like digital twins of people. You see with like uh Unreal's MetaHuman, and then you've been seeing stuff like empathy training come out of that. So you're doing like HR training and empathy training, with people with these like metahumans. So I think like for all across me, I'm a business guy, so I'm really excited about the business use cases. I think all across the business, from like sales and marketing to training, you see like high consequence training being very important. So like military training, a lot is being done in, using augmented reality and virtual reality. Um, and Even like healthcare training, we're seeing like doctors practice spinal surgeries in VR, before they go and operate on real patients. So that's even some of the stuff that we did with our game jams. So we had one called the Mega Health Jam, where we had healthcare professionals come in, with video game developers and XR developers, and create healthcare solutions over a weekend. So I've seen it firsthand, kind of like, it's like a major unlock that happens, because like when are doctors and nurses interacting with people like us or video game developers? It's pretty rare. So when you see it firsthand, they're like, holy shit, this like we could practice this surgery in VR, and like this will really work, and we could take it all across our hospital and all across all these other hospitals. And you're like, okay, these people are like more excited about it than we are. So we know like we're onto something here.
Moody, you're saving lives in VR. It's crazy. That's cool.
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, I think, and then that it's like not even touching on, the advertising aspects, or the gaming aspects, which I think there are many. I mean, you saw like the rise of Pokemon Go. It's like one of the most popular video games ever. People are still playing Pokemon Go, like all over the world.
It was just acquired for like $3.4 billion by
Yeah,
Scopely.
it was acquired by the Saudis, I think.
It was. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
That's maybe should I go there right now? We oughta. you are co-headquartered, right? You're or not, maybe not co-headquartered, but you have an office in Saudi Arabia, right?
Yeah. Yep. So just last year we opened an office in Saudi Arabia.
I've always been so curious about this. Like, how is doing business in the Middle East? How is it different and maybe the same as like doing business in the Midwest?
Yeah, so it's definitely a relationship based business over in the Middle East. We learned you really need to like have boots on the ground there. There's a lot of economic development going on in Saudi Arabia because they're trying to get their economy off of oil. So they have these like 2030 vision goals, and it's like 2025, so clock's ticking on these goals. And so now they're like full force investing billions of dollars into like hundreds of economic development projects that will from everything from tourism to entertainment to sports to like building universities and hosting conferences like leap, kind of like international business and tech conferences, to get off of oil. And even you see a lot of investors, a lot of VCs in the US, they go to Saudi Arabia to fundraise for their funds. And so like that's where a lot of the money is, in Saudi Arabia and Dubai, kind of this like GCC. Um, so there's a lot of investment dollars there, and that's a big reason why we chose to move over there. But yeah, I would say the relationships, that's the biggest part. Like having people there that speak the language, um, even having like local Saudi people is different than having, um, even me. Like I'm Syrian, so having a Syrian person in Saudi Arabia is different than having a Saudi Arabian person in Saudi Arabia. So like local people there, and yeah, it's a lot of relationship building, but there's a good opportunity for tech companies, I think, to bring their technologies over there. Um, they're really interested in AI, and they're really interested in like emerging technologies. So AR, VR, AI. They're really big into like digital banking, cryptocurrencies, things like that. And so,
You got to take me over there, Moody. Next time you go, I'd love to hang out. It looks beautiful. I mean, I have some friends that have gone, obviously visited different places in the Middle East, and it's such a special kind of region of the world. I think it
yeah,
is
yeah,
so
yeah. Well,
rich and is which is cool.
yeah, and I think now is really like when it's blowing up. Like I went over there last year. I spent a month. I did like a week in Dubai and then a few weeks in Saudi Arabia, all over Saudi Arabia. So Saudi Arabia is a huge country, like maybe the size of Texas. And and so like I spent some time in Jeddah, which is by the sea, and then I spent some time in Riyadh, which is their like big global finance hub, like their New York. Um, and it's incredible. There in Riyadh, there's towers everywhere, there's cranes everywhere. They're building like crazy.
Yeah, I mean the rate at which they have built stuff there is it makes your head spin how fast that they're building there. um, which is cool because it kind of mimics like founder mentality, right? Like with our businesses, like we're building things pretty quickly as well, you and I, um, similar values in that.
I think it's pretty amazing to see like a government move that fast. When we're from the US, and the government don't move that fast here in the US. So it's pretty cool to kind of see what can happen when you like really push the pedal to the metal.
Yeah, totally. So Moody, I want to ask you. So I have some products that I want augmented reality to build to solve these problems in my life. Okay. And I want you to tell me how far away we are from augmented reality solving these problems. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I maybe also a time frame and then also like a letter grade of like if you think this product is actually valuable versus not valuable. Okay.
Okay. It's like a AR Shark Tank.
It's AR Shark Tank. I'm pitching you my companies, my AR companies.
Okay, let's hear it.
So yes, that's actually a great way to frame it. Tell me if you're investing or not in these. Okay, you ready? Um, so the first one is this: you're at a party, and you know you've met somebody before, but you have no idea what their name is or what their backstory is. I want augmented reality glasses that tells me, okay, this is their name, and then these are 3 fun facts about this person.
Yeah, I think this is like a killer application. I think this is like what LinkedIn need. This is like LinkedIn's killer application, or Facebook's for augmented reality, for the glasses especially. Um, I think the glasses are a few years away, so I would say,
Oh, just a few years, not decades. You'd put it on the years timetable, not
yeah, yeah, no, no. I think a few years away. I think, especially now, like with Apple really pushing and Tim Cook pushing for Apple to come out with AR glasses. I think it's gonna, we really need like multiple horses in the race to compete with each other. It can't just be Meta like doing everything, um, which it has been. Like Meta's been investing the most in augmented reality for decades, um, and so yeah, I'm excited to see a little competition and see things really speed up. So yeah, I think now we have the Meta Ray Bans. Like I have Meta Ray Ban glasses, and it's basically not augmented reality yet, but you can record photos and videos, and I use those all the time. So like the form factor is there, they nailed it, and they were able to shrink all the hardware to fit in, you know, pretty sexy looking Ray Bans. So yeah, I think within, I would say, 2 to 3 years, realistically, we'll have something like that. And I think that's going to be one of the first apps built for the AR glasses. So yeah, I'm in. I would invest.
you're investing and you think it's obvious. Okay, how about this one? This one's a little bit more interesting because it has some interesting implications. I want on the windshield of my BMW for that windshield to be augmented reality, so it draws lines on the road of like where I need to drive my car to get to my destination.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think even some car makers have that now already. So probably if you bought a new BMW or if you bought a new Mercedes, um, it would have features like that built into it.
Oh wow. Okay, so that exists today.
It
So
exists
yeah,
today
so you would
already.
invest.
Yeah, 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 uh, yeah. That and I think now you're seeing it on like maybe second screens. There's like a second heads up display that has, the AR. I think in the next few years, you'll see it built more directly into the windshield. So you won't have like any second screen. It'll be all like built directly into the windshield, and you'll have more content. Now I think it's like navigation and like hazards mostly, but I think that you might have more content open up.
It's very cool, man. It's very, 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 very cool. Okay, so last product. I'm at a party and you know, some of my mates, their outfits are horrible, and it's like making my eyes bleed, like looking how ugly they look. I want augmented reality glasses that like just makes them a little bit more groomed. We can't fix the smell. That's not what augmented reality does, but the at least the outfit itself, change it into something better. How far away do you think we are from that?
You could do it today on mobile. You can do it today on mobile. So like a lot of people, like Snapchat has full body tracking, and so you can do like virtual clothing try-ons, and you turn someone like head to toe to a different character. So if you wanted to like turn them into Shrek.
Is it really good though? Like, the last time I explored this technology, it was like it was okay, but it just it missed that like wow factor.
No, no, it's very good now. Yeah, so I would, Snapchat's their AR platform's called Lens Studio, and they've been making a lot of like really nice updates to Lens Studio over the past couple years, bringing AI into it, and so yeah, you can really do a lot now with it. And they did a nice, like, it blurs it blurs nicely, so it like to the background, so it looks real. Uh, Yeah, so that's even some of the technology, that like full body tracking that we're using in our augmented reality mirrors. So it's like a full display, retail display where you can um where you can like virtually try on clothing. Um in themed entertainment, they have it so you can like become the characters, like you could become your favorite Disney princess. Like it's still it's still you, but it has like, the Disney princess dress on sort of thing. So applications like that with like the full body tracking.
Wait, so you're telling me, Moody, that BrandXR powers these mirrors in retail stores where I can go and I can see my outfit just like I don't have to walk into a changing room or anything.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a new product that we launched, called a augmented reality and mirror. And we've been seeing some really cool applications, like even had a call with a tattoo chain, a popular tattoo chain, about being able to like virtually try on tattoos.
So sick.
Even have the tattoo artist be able to like custom draw a tattoo on the iPad, for the
Mhm.
client, and then virtually try it on, like beam it to the mirror to try on. So yeah, the mirrors are pretty cool, and it just makes it easier. There's like a giant phone. That way you don't need to use your own device and fumble around with it. It's like it's just always on and always working. You just need to walk up to it.
Dude, I'm ecstatic. This is so, so cool. Like I love checking in with BrandXR every now and then, Moody, because it feels like I'm talking to like Tony Stark and Iron Man's lab. Like you guys are designing some pretty cool products over there.
We're actually making those in Michigan. So we're making those augmented reality mirrors in Kalamazoo, Michigan. We have our manufacturing partner there, so yeah, it's gonna be Michigan made AR mirrors.
Yeah, we're bringing industrialization back to America, you know? It's you're part of the solution here, Moody.
I'll do my
Um,
little part.
can I do your little part? That's great, dude. I love that. Okay, so, what else is coming down the pipeline? Like, give me a teaser. Like, is there any products you're focused on delivering in 2025?
I think the two big ones, like that augmented reality mirror is one of them that we're really excited about, and then really like bringing augmented reality to like all of out of home advertising, so all of the different formats, and kind of working with a number of out of home advertising partners, to launch these campaigns. So um, those are the two areas I really see. Um, Two areas of growth for this year for us.
That's great. Moody, where can I invest in you? You know, like, let me into your company, bro. That's
We're not raising right now,
Mm. Do you
but
think you
maybe
will
soon.
again or no? Yeah,
So
maybe
so
soon. Okay.
we're profitable now, which is nice. So we kind of control our own destiny a little bit. Um, and yeah, I think like with all the AI that's been coming out, we're seeing like a lot of AI efficiencies in our company. Um, So yeah, I don't know if we'll raise any more. Kind of we're not planning on it right now, but we'll play by ear.
Cool. That's awesome, man. Yeah, good for you. Great, great for you. Do you think that you're gonna be, Detroit home base forever? Like, what and if you are, why?
Yeah, I mean, Detroit's special for me because my family's here in Detroit. I think that's a big reason. I was out in California for a while, and then I moved back to Detroit, for my family, and we have like some family businesses here as well, that I was helping with. So um, the family is like the first thing that always keeps me here. But I like thinking of Detroit as like my home base. I like to get out and travel and see the world, and so trying to travel like at least once a month, to somewhere new. And yeah, Detroit's a great home base. I think like cost of living is low in Detroit compared to other places. I think the weather, is one thing that like could improve. Um, but like the people here in Detroit are like really what make it special. The community is like super helpful. it's small, the startup community, but everyone is like pretty helpful. Um, and and then yeah, I think it's gonna be growing. You're seeing a lot of cool things come to the city of Detroit. So it's like it's definitely the stock Detroit stock is going up, I would say. So yeah, I'm staying here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that. Tell me a little bit more, Moody, about like early Moody, maybe in like high school, college. Like what was the moment that you knew you were entrepreneurial and like kind of wanted to do something in virtual reality space?
Well, yeah, definitely didn't know I wanted to do something in the virtual reality space in high school. But I was definitely entrepreneurial. I kind of grew up in family business, so my dad has owned a few different businesses, from like a travel agency to a food distribution business, property management company. So I've kind of worked in these family businesses growing up, and I I was excited, to eventually do something like that on my own. I actually thought, when you're young and you're dumb, you don't really know what's going on. I actually thought you needed to like make a bunch of money to then start a business. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna like go to law school and become a lawyer and then make a bunch of money and then start a business. And turns out you don't have to do any of that law school stuff. You can just start a business. And I learned that though after I went overseas. So I went to Wayne State University, and when I graduated, or in order to graduate, I had to do an internship, and I did an internship overseas in Jordan. And so over there is when I really like got into business. It was for a logistics software company, and that's when I really was like, "Oh, this business thing is pretty cool. I would rather do this than law school." So I just stayed over in Jordan for my internship. Like I didn't even come home for the graduation. I just stayed over in Jordan and kept working there. They gave me like a full salary. I had a company apartment. I had a cook. I had a maid, and I was like 21 years old. And I had all of this stuff, and so it was a pretty cool experience. And I got to like travel the world on that company's dime. Um, so yeah, I think that experience is something that really shaped me. It was like, don't be afraid of going and seeing like the world. I was in the Middle East, in countries like Jordan and Lebanon, um, at the time, and then in Malaysia as well. So in Malaysia, I was like all around Southeast Asia, so like Vietnam, Singapore, Thailand. Um, so I got that like travel bug in me, and really did stuff that like was pretty adventurous back then. And I think that is kind of like what gave me some of the fearlessness to like be an entrepreneur and try this thing out, because it's like, worst thing happen, I can go move to Thailand and like live in Thailand on the cheap.
Totally, totally. Worst case scenario. But that's awesome to hear, man. Dude, being 21 in Jordan with like a maid and like all that services, you must have felt like a king. Like that's crazy.
It was cool for a little bit, but Jordan is pretty boring. There's like zero nightlife. And I was still kind of like getting used to the Middle East culture. So I would basically go to work, and then I would go to the gym and work out, and then I would come home and like Facebook chat my friends back home. you know, so
Sure.
like
I miss
that's
you
what I would
guys.
do.
Yeah,
Yep.
right. That makes sense. Makes sense. Do you have any maybe advice, Moody, for young men and women, maybe in high school or early college, who are a little unsure like what to do with their career? Maybe they're entrepreneurial, maybe they want to start a business. Do you have any words of advice, like something you would do if you were 21?
Yeah, I think having having that experience that I had, where you can like get a chance to see some of the world, like, it doesn't even matter what the job is, but as long as you're gonna, like, see different parts of the world and, like, you don't gotta pay for it out of your own pocket sort of thing, like, they're gonna pay for all your travel, that's a nice setup for, like, a young person because you can really like, in other countries, they have this concept of a gap year where you actually take a year off of before you go to college or before you go to the workforce. You actually just take a year off and go travel the world. And so it's like kind of that gap year concept, but like get a company to pay for it, like get a job with a company where you can work for them like all around the world. I think that's a really nice setup, or at least like all around the US. I think I really think that travel is important just to like open up your mind to this is how different people live and this is how different people work. And I think that is really, really important that I had that experience young. Um, and then I think just like, you know, trying different things and really like being fearless, I think is like my one big piece of advice is like don't really be scared of anything, you know, like, you're gonna have a ton of shit happen to you, in your life, and especially as an entrepreneur, like, you're gonna have to deal with a lot of good shit and a lot of bad shit, and you really have to have this, like, fearless attitude and mentality where you can just, like, keep bulldozing through all the bullshit and, like, you'll be alright. So, yeah, I think, like, having that mentality where you're, like, fearless and you will, like but wanna learn everything, so you're, like, soaking up everything like a sponge, and then trying to, like, get that travel early in your life, so you can, like, open up your mind to all the possibilities that exist, like, all around the world.
I love it so much, dude. Moody, that's awesome. Last couple of questions here. Where can people find you online?
So can definitely connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm Moody Mattan on LinkedIn, and you can check out BrandXR. Our website is brandxr.io, and you can look up our augmented reality murals. Just Google augmented reality murals, you'll find us. And then also our YouTube channel, I will plug because we put out some pretty cool augmented reality videos on our YouTube.
I love it. Yeah, check them out, dude. Go to the murals in real life. That's what I would recommend because they're really stunning. Moody, last question too. I always ask every guest this. What video game should people be playing right now?
Should they be playing? What video game? I haven't honestly, I haven't had a chance. I just got married, so I haven't been gaming too much lately. I just got married and moved into a new house, so haven't done a lot of
The game of
gaming,
life,
but
so to speak.
if I
Maybe that could
could
be the advice. Get off the game and go on a date, you know?
if I could play a game right now, I'll tell you what I would play. I would play FIFA because that's my game. I love playing FIFA. So yeah. If I had some time to play, I would bust out the FIFA and get going on that.
Fuck yeah, bro. Cool. Moody, thanks again, man, so much for joining us. It was an absolute treat. Great conversation. Very excited about everything Brand XR.
Thank you for having me, Max.